this embarrassment over with, my huge crowd here. So, yeah, you all know who I am. Anyway, John Duckstead, this is making the Shmoocon. Shmoocon. Yeah.
Shmoocon.
That's right. Show. Work, stupid thing.
So Simon works with a laptop.
Yeah, but the...
It's a Verizon laptop.
Yeah. Alright, just a second. So, alright, so, inspiration. Shmoocon 2006, I was down there. It was the first year of it, no, second, it was the second year of Shmoocon, but I think it might have been the first year of the Hacker Arcade. Unless, did they have one?
Well, I think they ran the very first
Third year of Shmoocon, second year of Hacker Arcade.
Okay, yeah, so the second year of Shmoocon, which was my first Shmoocon, I went down and the Hacker Arcade, and there were a few main machines that the Shmoo guys had put together. Big honking boxes, like lots of MDF or plywood or whatever, and they kind of didn't go by their own rules so much. Like they issued tag money, which we'll get to in a sec. But anyway, there was the skill crane, which was really freaking cool. It was a two-bay skill crane. One was remotely controlled with over the network, the Wi-Fi connection, covering all of Shmoo, and the other one you could just get prizes with. But neither of them issued tag money. So there's the Hacker Arcade. The rules are that it must accept quarters. The proceeds go to the EFF, and it must run tag money, which is their code to issue tickets. As you know, like if you go to like Dave & Buster's or Old Fashioned Arcade, you play a game, you get tickets. Well, tag money tickets are cryptographically signed files that go on a USB token that you plug in the machine. The Shmoo main machines issued tickets, but you didn't have to put a quarter in to play them. Basically, the quarter slot was just an empty hole that dumped into a soda bucket. Yeah. So I wanted to do something that fit both the rules, that adhered to both the rules, the requiring a quarter to play, and ran tag money. But I didn't want to do a main machine or something weird. So I wanted to do something different, something nostalgic. And while I was there, I came up with the idea of doing Simon. Everybody remembers Simon. It's ubiquitous. It's an easy game to play. So, I've realized a lot of great ideas, but I'm a little bit of a slacker when it comes to following through on them. So, February, I get back from Shmoocon, do a little game logic in Perl, just screwing around, and nothing gets done. July, nothing. October, nothing. December, nothing. Late February, holy crap! Shmoocon's in like 3 weeks. I really should get this done, because I told all my friends I'd get it done. So then the race was on. So I had a lot of really great ideas for doing this. I really wanted to do the Simon logic in an embedded controller, like an Arduino or a USB bitwhacker. But you know what? I got 3 weeks to do this project. No time for that. So what do? Parallel port I/O, the hardware hacker's best friend. It's fast, it's easy, and it's cheap. All three. So I went looking around for parallel port libraries because I didn't want to do the hardware interface from scratch because that would just be stupid. So I found the Parapen library, URL is there. Really nice parallel port library. Lets you set and pull the status of the pins. obeys various rules of parallel ports. You have to obey that some like pins 2 through 9 are all ganged together, so you have to use those either as ins or outs. You can't do them separately, but once you learn the rules, it's pretty easy to do this. So next step, I kind of got a plan going. Now I got to gather the materials. eBay, my friend. Vintage Simon game, $40. Coin op, $20. Hacking together a winning game in 3 weeks, priceless, baby. Yeah. So also, there was a fair amount of scrounging from friends. I hit up my friend Emery for an old beater E-machine, Celeron 366 from he had in his garage. Low speed, low power, no fans, because I knew I was going to be putting it in my own box. And it came with a parallel port. A couple of the other machines I looked at, I had an old rack mount machine that I had gotten from work. I think we all know what that is. But that didn't have sound. It did have a parallel port. And I was going to do something with sound. I was going to try and use the onboard sound card, but I didn't get quite to there. We'll get to that in the integration part of the talk. But this worked out a lot better because it came with a 4-gig drive and it's a cheap beater machine. So, and then I had to spend a fair amount of money over at Trash Shack for some perf boards, some transistors, some flashlight bulb sockets, and some hookup wire and DD5 connector. So, I don't know, I probably laid out $100 for this to win a $75 ticket to Shmoocon. Yeah, so, but it was all fun and bragging rights. How much were those, really? So while I waited for the parts to come in, I got to work on some code. So the high-level functionality of Simon is that you need to sense that switches are toggling on and off, you need to light up flashlight bulbs, you need to make some noise, and I had to run the tag money code provided by the Shmoocons. So, here's a little pseudocode of the game logic for Simon. While player has not lost, generate a random number from 0 to 3, append that number to an array, show that array to the player, and compare the player's response to the array. Pretty easy. In fact, that's the main loop right there. Just keep going and going until you screw up. So
I remember Simon as a kid telling me I fucked up.
yeah, well,
You should have.
yeah,
It was implied.
yeah. That noise.
Oh, that's
That's the you fucked up noise. Yeah. So I got the code. I got the basic game logic done, and now it was time to make all hardware and stuff work. So right off the bat, I kind of wanted to preserve the original PT board because it's like I did pay $40 for the game on eBay, and I wanted to keep that pristine. So I traced the original layout of the board on a piece of perf board, which you can see here. A little foreshadowing. Notice that this isn't in the game. So, it fit really well, and I did all the integration work with this board, but it didn't work so well when it came to time to put the cover on top. So, but I installed, I got some switches, the light bulb sockets, the flashlight bulb sockets, and a whole bunch of wires that hooked up to a piece of RJ45, piece of Cat5 cable, which, again, going on the cabling, when all you've got is a 110 punch down tool, everything looks like Cat 5 cable. Pins 2 to 5 control the lights. Pins 11, 12, 13, and 15 sense button presses on the game. And pin 10 was used for the coin mech. The coin mech comes with a little micro switch that when you drop a quarter in there, the quarter passes by it and momentarily flips a switch. So it's kind of what the cabling looks like inside. Up here, you got the coin mech, and the switches down here, and this connects up to the parallel port here, and this connects to the game, and I really like gaffer's tape, so I got some more gaffer's tape here. I got, this is actually the serial port connector, because this box is running headless, so I had a way to debug shit when I was at the con, so we got a serial console hanging on the back, but you'll see that in a minute. And there's a network connection here too that also comes out the back of the box. So, I got going on it, and there were a couple things I wanted to do. There were some things I wanted to learn while I coded this up. One of them was event-based programming in C. So I looked at some event libraries and couldn't figure out for the life of me how to make them work. And so I threw that out the window too. Proceeded to split Simon into two programs. One of them was Simon and one of them was Simon D. And hooked them together using interprocess communications with a name pipe. So Simon D, what's it do? It's about 40 lines of code. It monitors the button presses and the coin out. And it writes numbers to the FIFO for what it sees. Simon reads from the FIFO, implements the game logic. It's about 200 lines of code. I'll be posting the code online after the talk, so anybody who cares to look at my really, really lousy C code can have at it. The Sunday before the con, I needed to build this snazzy case. And thanks to renovating a house, I happen to have a whole bunch of tools and leftover supplies in the basement. So I had part of a sheet of plywood and a table saw. And I went to town making this snazzy case. I had to measure out the motherboard for the Celeron, the drive bracket, the hard drive, power supply, and there's on the back here. There's a 4-port Cat 5 Keystone faceplate. So 2 ports, one for network, one for serial, and then 2 ports for ventilation, because that's really important. And then little screws, some glue, and a spare handle from my kitchen renovation, because I had one of those left over, and I was ready to go. One more thing about building the case is, before I started building it, I looked up the dimensions for the max dimensions to put something in the overhead compartment on a plane. I knew I was going to be flying with this. So it's specially sized to fit in the overhead. So then 3 days before the con, I realized that my lovely perf board hackery isn't really going to work so well. Because, and I'll open this up in a minute if people want to see, but on the original Simon PC board, there's the switches, these guys, actually press down on some really, really flat, almost reed switch kind of things. It's basically just a contact in the middle and a strip of metal that's kind of bowed over them. So it's really, really low profile. So yeah, these tall things didn't really work out so well. So in a fit of panic, I took this apart, took all the transistors off of this, and found another piece of small perf board to mount those to, and then went to town desoldering all of the pieces off of the original PCB. I probably should have done that to start with because it was way, way easier. If you're ever doing any kind of hardware hacking like this, taking a piece of original old gear and screwing with it, maybe you want to do some circuit bending, I highly recommend the method that I ended up using for tracing the traces, which was take it down to your scanner, drop it on there, make a scan of it, tweak the contrast in Photoshop with a GIMP or what have you, and until it's nice and contrasty like this, and gives you a nice thing to work with when you're trying to figure stuff out. You can see where I started to write on things, but when I thought of doing this, I was like, hey, that's even better. Once I got that all done, the transistors got mounted on a small piece of perf board. Actually, it's the little tiny Radio Shack PC boards that are meant to take an IC, and you can it pulls out the leads. So that worked out really well. That got hot glued into a nice secure place inside the case, and everything worked out really well. And I just put it all together. The case, put the case together, tested it all out, and then I went to the con. Going to the con was a lot of fun. I got to late arrivals. So I get to TF Green and throw my the bag with my clothes in it on checked baggage because I already had this to carry on plus a laptop bag. So as I was throwing my check bag on the scanner, the guys were like, "Hey, what's that?" I'm like, "It's a computer in a custom case." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Looks kind of funny." So, yeah. So then I go through security with this, and I throw my laptop bag, pull my laptop out, take my freaking shoes off, dispose of any liquids for the war on moisture, and then I put this through, and they comes through and they scan it, and I'm like, and the woman running the X-ray scanner calls her supervisor over and says, "Hey, look at this. This is weird." So I'm like, "Yeah, it's a computer. It's a game. I'm going to a computer convention." The supervisor just takes me aside. And I'm like, I even had one of those free screwdriver kit thingies that's, got the short bits in it. And I figured if they wanted me to throw that away, I wouldn't care because I got it for free anyway. And they didn't even want me to throw that away. I could stab somebody with that Phillips head.
Then you can put someone's eye out.
I could. I could put somebody's eye out with my finger.
And also start banding the fingers on your hand.
Put your fingers in your check bags.
Yeah. So he just, he opened it up, swabbed it for explosive residue, threw the thing through the scanner, and I came up clean. So no ticket to Gitmo for me. Thankfully, I wasn't flying out of Boston because all of the scary wires inside there would have freaked them out, and I would have been held at gunpoint. No, I'm trying to kill anybody.
We would have gotten a great laugh out of it.
To be honest, I kind of wanted something to happen just so I could have a really good story to tell. Yeah.
We can arrange that next time.
Yeah. See, I'd like to fly too, not end up on a no-fly list. So there's kind of a.
I can arrange that too.
So last minute hacks. There's a lot of work. I had before I left for the con, I knew I still had more work to do. So the little special custom faceplate that's on it here says Shmoocon. Tells you how to play the game. Tells you how to potentially hack the box if you want to do that. I was going to implement. There was 4 different possibilities of how much more functionality I could get done between getting to the con and having to set this up the next day around noonish. So I printed up 4 different faceplates to accommodate each of those potential options. Seeing that I'm lazy and I really wanted beer, I got the bare minimum done, put the bare minimum faceplate on it, and at 11 o'clock Thursday night, went down to the bar and had beer, because beer is important. Which I integrated the tag money code and got a web server. I had installed Light HTTPD on here. So at the con, you could actually go to simon.shmoocon.net or whatever the Shmoocon conference domain is, and it display a high score page. It didn't work very well. It was kind of broken, but it was a good try anyway. So this is the console. This is what nobody saw while they were playing the game, unless they actually plugged into the console board. That shows what is being displayed to the user and when you screw up. And then the response to it, people got it. It was Simon, come on, it's pretty easy. There was some people enjoyed it. It was kind of nostalgic, like, oh, cool. One of the problems that I thought it was going to be a problem, but I didn't have any time to deal with it. I'll deal with it next year. The beeps were too quiet. I was using, this is really, really cheesy. I really wanted to use sound library to make sound with the sound card. Yeah, no, I didn't have time for that. So there's this really handy little Linux program called Beep. And you can give it a duration and a frequency. And so to make the beeps, I'm actually making system calls out of my C code to beep. Yeah.
I saw an exploit.
The timing wasn't right. The timing was constant throughout the game. So some people complained, Beep actually, that it was hard to play because the actual Simon game gets faster as you play it. So it was actually harder to play because it was just a constant speed the whole time. I did make $30 for the BFF though.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So yeah, I was pretty pleased. Let's see, what else were there? A couple of places where you had an opportunity to hack the game was with the high score webpage code. If you had put your name, if you had put a file on your USB stick called Simon Player, it would have read that. It would have read the first 12 bytes of that for a username to put on the high score webpage. So I was giving you an opportunity to hack the box with 12 bytes. So I wanted to see if anybody was neat enough to try that. Nobody was. So what else was there? That's about it. It was fun. I didn't get nearly as many stickers as I had hoped. I only got 2, one for Nauticon and one for the wireless vulnerabilities and exports. And then this one up front, this little guy, right there he is, this little puffy guy. I stole him off of a forklift that was in the parking garage because I thought he was kind of cool. Next year, I want to fix the timing issues. I actually do want to use an embedded controller. The thing I plan to do, I think I'll try and get that done this year. What?
We're not putting stickers on this anymore.
I'm thinking about using a Nokia 770 for the display video place to see like how many quarters you inserted, because people might want to play this for hours and actually be able to put a bunch of quarters in and have credits.
Hours.
I have a first generation one. You want?
770?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a 770 as well.
You want one that you want? You just have mine.
All right, cool, sweet.
I'll count your back movements one of them.
Yeah.
So you want to break my legs like the 770.
All right. So yeah, I've got some plans for this year. We'll see how much I get done, or if I procrastinate again, and then just bring it as it is. So, but I think I'm just gonna Sharpie on it, like on the side, sticker me, and see if I get more stickers this year. So that's about it. Any questions?
You can keep the same case even though you're using an embedded controller?
Yeah, I'll keep the same case because the coin off is already built into it, and it's, I would count this as like basically the bare minimum size of case of something you would bring for the Hacker Arcade.
Plus it gives you more room to grow.
Yeah, and like anything smaller, and it's gonna walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm even a little sketch about using a 770 for the display, because I'm afraid that'll walk. So one of the things I might do is I do have a...
Build it into the case.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of building like a...
If you want, remember that barcode
Yeah.
reader came with a really big LCD.
I've got some LCDs at home that I might try integrating. And I might even try integrating them with, like, one of them's either parallel or serial controlled, so I might just integrate it with the embedded controller to have it, again, all the logic will be
Yeah, I'm
there.
not sure, this might be serial control, it's got a plug on it.
Yeah. Nice.
So I don't know exactly what drives it,
So, see how it goes. But people definitely encouraged me to bring Simon back next year. I don't think I'll win 2 years in a row, kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I've raised the ante. So,
yeah, I don't know why, but I think it was very the main box. I'm like, it's kind of
yeah, it's like, okay, it's a nice loungy place to hang out. But I have to say, I was pretty impressed. The other two games that I was impressed with this year were the Duck Hunt game. You didn't get play it? Yeah, they had a projector, and they were projecting Duck Hunt up on the wall, and I think they were using Wii controllers for that. And then the other one was the one that was kind of mounted on the floor in a slanty case on the floor. It was this weird flash game that again was controlled with a Wii controller. So that was pretty cool. But neither of those games ran Tag Money or Triport. No, yeah, or Triporters. So yay for me. I rule. I follow the rules. So I guess that's why I won. I don't know. It's kind of. Huh?
What are the tag money for?
Tag money is actually really straightforward. They provide, it's really just code you call. So the day of the Friday afternoon, they set up the arcade and they issue a cert for each of the games. So each game gets a cert that's signed by the con cert, the con CA, and so then it generates based on how you call it and you tell it issue this many tickets, like 1 to 9 tickets, and it creates and you tell it the path where to write it to, and it looks for your cert based on the config file, and it just writes the hash. It's really just a hash file.
So was it any restriction how many you could write to USB it's open, or just not fair to sort of?
If I wanted to, I could have been the top ticket.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, but I think they kind of have they might notice that,
Well, I think a lot of other people with just their name, then one stand out.
Yeah.
Then it's system necessary.
Correct.
Now,
So, but yeah, so it's basically get issued a cert. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. The code's really portable too. They write it. I think they write it on OS 10, but it's just using OpenSSL, so it runs anywhere OpenSSL runs. Yes. So, anybody, if you all want to come up, I have quarters. If anybody wants to play. Drop my phone too. Yeah, whatever.
John, how many other games there last year actually accepted quarters and ran tag money besides yours?
I'd say none. If I remember correctly.
Maybe one.
So is that based on somebody won?
I think so.
Default.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, come on.
Well, but
Simon's
it's
a
fucking
pretty
cool
concept.
too. Come on. It's like I did a lot of people, just brought their PC running main or brought, or brought their thing that was really cool, but neither took quarters, didn't do both taking quarters and running tag money. I think most of them ran tag money, but not all of them did the quarters. Because integrating tag money into, especially if you're programming the game yourself, it's not hard. You really just have to output the score somewhere, determine what your score to tickets ratio is, and then call tag money to do that. So issue the tickets. It even makes when you insert a quarter, and it's really quiet, so you'll have to, if you want to play with this, here's a pile of quarters. But when you put the quarter in, it goes.
Nice. That's why you won.
Yeah, and sometimes the buttons are a little finicky too. But it's like a 20-year-old game.
so in other words, hit it really hard.
Yeah.
I think you lost.
Yeah. One of the things that's a little funny about it is because I'm calling beep with system calls, I don't really have a way.
This is like random.
I don't really have a way
See the
to.
pattern.
It's pseudo random.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
I don't really have. I didn't really have a way to. Yeah, so here's the console handling assignment log. I didn't really have a way to make it so that as long as you're holding down the button, the sound is being made. So when you do a button press, it's like 200 milliseconds of beep, and then it expects you to keep pressing buttons. So anyway, it was a fun project. The other thing that's really cool about this is I can use this box for anything. Like, if I wanted to do a main console, I could. All I have to do is throw a little VGA display on here and I'd be good to go. So I might do something completely different and just use the same box because it's a PC in a box. It's a great handle.
Better than a dick in a box.
Well, for me, not for you though. I hear you like the dick in the box.
Yeah, I kind of want to
You,
watch.
you did get some of those parts of memory. That's true.
So, but yeah, it's that's about it. So,